If you went to Randolph College on Saturday to check out Randolph and Hampden Sydney and weren't an ODAC fan beforehand, then I don't know what else can get you into the ODAC. The ODAC, one of the best conferences in the country, in my opinion. Definitely Division III premier conference. Great basketball all the way around. If you're a true fan of sports, check it out. Randolph threw the upset on Hampden Sydney by the score of 61-60. Wildcats had dropped 7 straight in the ODAC. 5 of those, though, had been 6 points or less. After the game, I talked to the head coach of the Wildcats, Clay Nunley, to get his thoughts on what this win could do for Randolph College as they head down the stretch in the ODAC. Next game for Randolph on Wednesday at Washington and Lee. Here's Clay Nunley on the Sports Buffet podcast.
That's a pretty good team, obviously, on the other side, and I thought y'all played really well against them. How big was this one to get in terms of you guys had dropped 7 straight in conference?
Well, we had, and we dropped a number of close ones. I mean, we got a handful of games and we lost either on the last possession or the last 90 seconds. And I think our guys were kind of getting to the point where they get starving for a win and they need to have a good break go their way. And today we finally were able to get that. So very proud of them, and I thought we really battled. We weren't as sharp down the stretch as we want to be and need to be, but we did enough good things over the course of the game to prevail in the end. And just really happy for our guys. Just like I said, I told them in the locker room I'll never get tired. We as coaches will never get tired of watching them have success. And, we've had injuries this year. We've had some adversity. We've had, like I said, close games didn't go away. And you got to stay the course. You got to keep working. You got to keep believing. And when you do that, you can try to give yourself a chance to turn it around. So it's just one game. It's a game in January, but it's obviously a great win. And we got to be ready to try to build on it now, second time through the league.
I thought first half defensively, especially, you made them take a lot of shots that it looked like they didn't want to take.
I think we, our game plan every time going in is our guys trying to understand how we need to play and what we're trying to give up. And so, I think we, to hold a team like that to 27 points in the first half, our guys were doing some really good things defensively. And we were rebounding pretty well until the end there of the first half. And like you said, forced them to take the kind of shots that we felt like we needed them to take for us to be successful. And then at the offensive end, I thought guys were playing with both aggressiveness and confidence.
Zach hit some really big shots. Colton, first guy ever to go over 1,000 this program. And Derrick also played well. I'm going to get you to touch on individual performances, but any thought of taking Derrick out when he picked up that fourth? Because there were like 6 minutes left.
Yeah, there was, but we rolled the dice. Right. And he actually took himself out when he got cramped, and that probably played to our advantage to get him out for a little bit and preserve him so we could have him in there at the end. And anyway, we obviously we had to think about that, but we felt like at this point we were going to try to keep him in there, get the right matchups, and hope he could stay on the floor.
Touch on some of the other individual performances real quick.
It's hard to single guys out. It's such a team win. I mean, you get guys across the board, whether it's a guy that comes in and plays 1 or 2 minutes and does his job, or guys on the bench. I mean, I know it sounds to some people who maybe on the outside looking in, they listen and they think, well, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's huge. You come down and they're getting ready to run an out-of-bounds play, and we got guys on the bench screaming to our guys on the court what to be ready for based on how they line up. Well, that's huge. That's everybody playing a role and everybody contributing to it, and it's hard to single guys out. And a win like that, it doesn't happen if everybody isn't buying in and doing what they need to do.
In closing, you said it's only one game in January, but I can counter that by saying this could count for 5 or 6 later on because it gives you momentum now. Talk about the win and talk about how you think it could propel you guys maybe.
Well, that's the hope. Again, we've had so many close ones, and we've had to overcome injuries, and we've had to deal with some of that adversity, and that's right. That happens sometimes. You got to handle it the right way, and today I thought our guys showed we can handle it the right way, and so now moving forward, it doesn't get any easier, but the biggest thing is let's go about it the right way. Let's go about it the right way and give ourselves the best chance.
Best of luck, and congratulations on this one.
Thanks, Bob.
It was a historic day for Randolph, too, as Colton Hunt became the first 1,000-point scorer in men's basketball history at Randolph. Derrick Morrow also had a great game, 22 points and 9 boards. He was 9 of 11 from the floor. And Zach Deskin, the freshman, also hit some big threes several times in the second half. He finished with 13 points for the Wildcats, 3 of 4 from behind the arc. After the game, I had a chance to catch up with Colton Hunt and Derrick Morrow for their thoughts on the victory.
Obviously, big team win. You guys have dropped a lot of close ones. Talk about what you felt went right.
I think we've really been trying to focus on getting back in the right track, not so much with the X's and O's, but with our mentality and with our attitude. And I think tonight is a game that really epitomizes how we play, tough and nose to the grindstone and really kind of fight it out.
What does it mean to you becoming the first 1,000-point scorer in this team's history?
I mean, it's a great honor. This is something that we take pride in as a team and building a tradition that's hopefully going to go on for a long run of years. But it's just the beginning right now.
Derrick, I thought you had a warrior performance today, especially getting that cramp and then coming back to play hard. What did you see that went well for you guys?
We just kept playing. We kept pounding it hard to them. We took open shots, the shots we needed to take. We also played, in my opinion, hella good defense. There's always room for improvement, but as far as shutting down the key players, we did that.
How big can this win be in terms of there's still some season left to go and there's still opportunity for you guys to improve the old seeding for the tournament? Talk about how big this win could be in terms of momentum.
I think it's great in terms of momentum. Coach came in here talking about the next. We got this win. It's time for the next game. We move quick. We enjoy the wins, but it's time to get ready and get going on a run now.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a motivator. A foundation, but it's not the end. Hopefully, it's only the beginning, and we can turn this thing around and get back on the right track.
Y'all talked about defense. It seemed like defense was really the key in the first half. They took a lot of shots I thought they didn't want to take. Talk about the defensive effort for you guys.
That's something we take pride in. We take pride in coming out and putting our 5 against their 5, and that's something that it's really just a toughness thing to sustain a defensive position for 35 seconds of shot clock, and I think that's where we get into making them take bad shots when they're trying to beat the shot clock and not really getting into a rhythm and things like that.
And in closing, I want to talk about one of your guys' teammates. Everybody played well, but I thought Zach Deskin really hit some big shots for you guys. Talk about his play.
Yeah, Zach's been starting as a freshman the whole year. He's got a lot of minutes as a point guard, and he didn't have a freshman mentality. He comes in ready to play every game, and I think that he came in ready to play this game, and he did very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zach's definitely been a spark for us the whole year, and that's really just speaks volume of his work in the offseason. And I think that he's done some big things, and hopefully he'll be able to keep doing that for us.
Guys, congratulations on W. We'll see you soon.
Thanks a lot.
Hope to get Zach Deskin on the podcast soon to maybe do a feature on him and his brother Adam, who is at Randolph-Macon College. 2 brothers in the ODAC. I'm sure it's happened before, but I'm sure it doesn't happen every day at different schools. Anyway, I digress. Dee Vick, always classy, whether victory or defeat. So kind to speak to me after the game on Saturday. Had some thoughts about what went wrong with his team and more. Here's the head coach of the Hampden Sydney Tigers, Dee Vick, recapping the game against Randolph on the Sports Buffet podcast.
Obviously a tough-fought game. Let's kind of go back to the first half. It seemed like you guys may have been taking shots that you really didn't want to take because of their defense. Talk about what happened in the first half.
Well, I think it had more to do with our poor quarter court defense than our offense. I mean, we're going to miss shots occasionally, and we can live with that, but our defensive execution was very poor, and it led to them getting more offensive possessions, and they made the most of it.
Not trying to trivialize the loss or anything, but was this one of those days, or did you guys not do as much as you wanted to do, if that makes sense?
No, we had a bad practice yesterday. I gave him a day off after the Lynchburg game, and it probably was a mistake. We had a bad practice. We turned the ball over constantly, and guys just weren't into it. And I thought we played today like we practiced yesterday, and I'm not sure if it was relaxing or becoming complacent, not respecting Randolph. I mean, we've lost every time we've been over here, so as a coaching staff, we preached that this is going to be a tough game. They lost 7 out of 8. Their backs up against the wall. They came out scratching and clawing, and to Clay's credit, his team really played great. They had a great game, and we let the game play into their tempo. They took care of the ball. They really established the tempo, and that wasn't good for us.
Well, I did think Keegan Wessel really played his tail off amongst some other guys, but he's one that really stood out to me in the stands. What did you see out of his play coming off the bench?
He gave us a huge spark. Keegan's a wonderful kid who's persevered through a broken wrist this year, broken hand, and he gave us a real spark. He hasn't hung his head. He just keeps working and getting back in shape, and he earned the opportunity to get in tonight and made the most of it. And now that we know that, we can count on him more next time.
A couple of times it seemed like there were mass substitutions, and I'm not sure if they kind of just got stacked up because there were no whistles, or was that designed by strategy of something you saw that you weren't happy with?
We've been rotating 5 in, 5 out. We try to play 10 guys. So that's kind of our philosophy.
Talk about the last play. Did you guys get the shot and everything that you wanted?
Yeah, I thought Harrison got a good look. I mean, there was some contact, but not enough to probably blow the whistle. Probably knocked him off balance a little bit, but it's a shot he makes consistently in practice. I thought it was good from my point of view, but I like the shot. He's one of our best players, and he wants the ball in his hands, and he had a chance, and I thought he got a good look.
Final thing, we talked about Wednesday night maybe being a real springboard. This can maybe be a springboard in the opposite direction. What do you think your guys are going to learn from the loss, and what did you tell them after the game?
Well, I told them that to me, we lost this game yesterday because as you're a basketball team trying to get better every day, you can't take a day off. And when you do, you take steps backwards. And we always talk about wanting to be playing our best basketball down at the end of the season and heading into the ODAC tournament. And we didn't prepare very well yesterday for whatever reason. And again, I thought we played like we practiced yesterday, and hopefully we can learn from that and come back and have a great practice tomorrow.
Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Hey, thanks, Paul.
It is now a dogfight in the ODAC with Virginia Wesleyan in first place right now. Second in place is just a game within Randolph, Macon, Guilford, and Hampden Sydney. Randolph Macon did a number on Guilford on Sunday to help their record out. 74-45 was the score in that one. The standings right now read Virginia Wesleyan at top 8-1, Randolph Macon 10-2, Hampden Sydney and Guilford both sitting there at 8-3. Then it gets to Lynchburg at 6-5, Washington and Lee 4-5, Eastern Mennonite and Randolph each at 3-7, Emory and Henry 3-8, and Roanoke and Bridgewater bring up the rear at 2-8. But anybody can beat anybody in this league. Dee Vick, always classy, always a pleasure to talk to him, always a pleasure to talk to Clay Nunley as well, and always a pleasure to cover the ODAC. It's a great league, and I encourage anyone who has not checked it out, get to an event soon. It doesn't matter the sport. Great coaches, great people, great fans, and great athletes. Student athletes in the truest sense of the word in the ODAC. For the Sports Buffet Podcast, this has been Bob Alvis.